My name is Juan Diaz. I'm part of the Mimic development team for FIU Spring 2019. Product owners for the project are Mark Finlayson, Labiba Jahan, and Victor Yarlot. The mentor of the project is Dr. Masood Sajjadi. This is a presentation of the return to previous activity use case. It allows students to go back to the last completed activity. The student may wish to retake a previously taken activity. This is a demo of the return to previous activity use case. We're logging in with user 2. User 2 has already completed activity 1, so we should be presented with activity 2. User 2 is presented with activity 2, and they're given the option of going back. Next, we log in with users 3 and 4. User 3 has completed activity 1 through 2. User 4 has completed activity 1, meaning, based on the current logic and requirements, we should be taken to activity 3. We're presented with activity 3 or 4. Once again, the users are presented with a back button. The previous activity, even though user 4 has not completed previous activity 2, user 3 has. So we should be taken to user activity 2. And we are. This concludes the demo of the user feature. This is a review of the implementation for the return to previous activity use case. It has a simple use case diagram. A student may return to a previous activity. The sequence diagram goes as follows. A student clicks on the previous button or the back button in the user interface. This calls the activity service, which calls the API service. Both these services were implemented during version 1 of the product. However, they were obviously modified to accommodate this new feature. The main thing about this feature is that for each of the users logged in, their progress in the backend is deleted. So the activity service calls the API service. The API service makes a web call to the activity progress controller implemented in Java. This controller communicates to the database through an activity progress repository. Essentially, it serves as an API to perform SQL statements. This is done for every user that is logged in, as the application allows for multiple users. Once this has been completed, the activity service calls itself with the getProgress function. This is something that was implemented previously on version 1. It was modified for efficiency, but its main feature is to update local variables with the activity index for which the users are on. Once we have the right activity index, it calls itself again with goCurrentActivity. This simply presents with the user with the next activity to be completed. And then the function finally returns. For the code review, the back button was implemented as an AngularJS component. This is done so it can easily be reused throughout other components or pages. The HTML for this component is simply a back button that calls a function in the component. As mentioned in the activity diagram, the back previous activity component is eventually going to call the activity service. And this is the meat and potatoes of the application. It will call the delete activity progress for the API service, which is a web service call to the backend. It will wait for all the activities for all users to be deleted, as previously mentioned. Here's the delete activity API function. It does this for each of the users logged in. It will wait for that to be completed. It will call API getProgress, like mentioned. It will update local variables so we know the next activity ID to be completed. And from there, if everything has been completed, which should never be the case, it will go to a state of done. But since that should never be the case, Instead, it will go to the next activity to be completed. And here's where the activity service calls itself. This brings an end to the presentation. Thank you for watching. My name is Juan Diaz, and you may reach me at jds457@fiu.edu. Once again, the mentor for this project was Dr. Masoud Sajjadi, and the product owners are Mark Finlayson, Labiba Jahan, and Victor Yarlot. Thank you for watching.